Homelessness is an issue that no matter where in the world you are, you're going to see somebody who's currently experiencing it, or maybe you have experienced it in your own life. Oftentimes, homelessness is because of rising housing costs, substance abuse, or even among the youth, instability within the home. Living downtown Olympia, I have seen many people who are currently living on the streets. I always wonder why they are still living there, if there are so many people who are attempting to help these people get off of the streets. Many of the efforts that we try to do to get people off of the streets include providing food, healthcare, as well as job assistance. Unfortunately, none of these actually are going to help people with finding a home. Housing first is an option that we should be taking advantage, and it's unfortunately not a very popular route to go towards when trying to help people who are currently being homeless. Housing First is a program that accepts anybody and everybody who currently does not have a home to live in. They are small organizations, mainly based in California and Oregon, that like to house homeless people in housing and not take into consideration what made them homeless in the first place. As of 2017, Washington State alone had 21,112 homeless people. Of those 21,112 people, 2,135 of them were homeless youth. 4,357 of them were chronically homeless people. Chronically homeless people are considered those who live out on the streets for at least 5 years and have no sign of returning back to a stable housing situation in the near future. According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, there are only enough permanent housing placements for about 1/3 of the families that experience homelessness annually. That means that 7,037 people get housing each year. That also means that about 14,000 people will live on the streets every year. They have to then rely on other citizens and shelters to find a place to live, especially during the colder months when it's not safe to live outside. Unfortunately, those who are homeless also are the most often to take advantage of our public services. The most frequently used public service are our emergency rooms. On average, they visit emergency rooms 5 times per year. The highest users of emergency departments visit weekly. These, each visit costs $3,700. That's $18,500 spent per year on somebody who visits 5 times a year. And that's $44,400 spent per year on those who visit more frequently. That's a lot of money, and that's way more money than what we could use to actually house these citizens. Taxpayers annually spend about $40,000 a year on homeless people. That's a lot of money to just provide them food, some basic job experience, but no home. The current programs that are out there that provide housing often have extensive lists of requirements that must be met before offered housing. Sobriety is the most common of these. Unfortunately, we have it all backwards, and Housing First is the solution that we should be going towards before requiring sobriety. No one can achieve sobriety without having a stable environment to work on treating their disease. Housing First is actually a program that has seen quite success in the areas that it's being used in. It rehabilitates citizens back into the housing market. After 2 years, 77% of those who have partaken in Housing First programs were still living in their homes. They decreased the amount of services being used, public services being used, such as the need of police, hospital visits, and food banks/soup kitchens. Housing First options only cost about $14,000 per participant. Although it still sounds like a lot of money, that's a 30% decrease in what we are spending now to help our current citizens who are homeless. At the end of the day, it's not necessarily our job to make sure that everybody has a place to live. We pay our own rent, we take care of ourselves, we feed ourselves, and then we're all good. But unfortunately, not everybody can help themselves, and that is why it is our duty to help those who are around us find a place to live and to be safe and to be healthy. Washington state alone has a huge homeless problem. Especially during the winter times, it is frightening to see these people sleeping out on the streets and knowing that most likely they're going to end up in an emergency room, then costing us thousands of dollars trying to pay those doctors who had to treat them. Next time you're looking for a way to volunteer or help our community, instead of just donating to the local food bank, look for an organization who practices these housing first options. There are many of them who are beginning these programs. And if you donate your money or your time and help support them, then they will become a more regular part of our community. Thank you.